video.
It will be there, Abby.
Yeah, he's saying it's live.
Yeah, I got it.
He said the meeting is being live streamed.
We got, yeah. So we'll just start.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good,
Sorry,
and you?
I didn't put on my video.
I'll be off video
How's everybody?
today. So, yeah.
I'm so happy to see you guys. Benson, always in the house. Obi, thank you for being here. Ifunanyam, you are the shining star.
Thank you. You don't even look like you just, arrived.
For real? I
You look
am
so refreshed.
tired, as
You
in,
look so
look at my
refreshed and
eyes.
everything, yeah.
Okay, that's okay. It's
I wish
nice
I look
to...
like you. I am so
You know what they
tired.
say about aging
I look
gracefully?
crazy.
Okay. Fine wine, aging like fine wine.
Okay. Yeah.
So today we're talking about effective communication. We all know that without communication, nothing happens. But today's conversation, because effective communication is very wide. So today we're going to talk about effective communication in a corporate setting at the workplace. So having said that, we all know that effective communication means that messages are sent in such a way that they reflect the present, the future of the organization, example, the people, the products and services. If you do not effectively communicate, even when people know what brought them to the company, they might start to grumble. Some of them would stumble. So effective communication is very important because you need to keep everybody abreast. So having said that, I would like to mention as well that for communication to be really effective, there must be values. Whatever you're communicating should reflect the vision, the mission, and the culture of the organization. It should also occur with regularity and frequency. If you make policies in January of 2024 and nobody refers to them and you do not remind people that this is what the policy says and people start behaving the way they like, then you're not communicating effectively. So, and you also have to be consistent if you are effectively communicating. I don't know if I'm making sense. Benson,
Yes, you
am I? Okay. So, no, it's good you answered me. So, I would like to throw a question. Based off of what I've said, what can you say are the characteristics of effective communication? How would you explain to a 5-year-old the characteristics of effective communication? Benson, would you like to take that for me?
Abigail is a lawyer. She would have been but Benson can go, yeah. But Abigail is a lawyer. Ndofu. They sabi talk.
And not communicate.
They sabi talk. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, let the lawyer
Benson,
go
go
first.
ahead.
Let the lawyer go. Let the lawyer go.
Wow, that's a privilege that I don't know how to.
I'm throwing you under the bus as my partner.
Okay, but I won't decline. Thank you, sir, for this privilege and the honor. What I have to say here is that, for a communication to be effective, you say in an organizational setting, like a company.
Yes, or a formal setting.
In a formal setting.
Effective communication in the workplace. Because, that is different from communicating effectively in the home front.
Okay, yes. In as much as they still have similarities, because communication is communication.
Communication, exactly.
Yeah, two-way thing. There must be an encoder, there must be somebody that is receiving the communication. There must be somebody that is giving it out. So there is a and the person making that conversation. Two people are involved, or two or more people. So likewise, in every setting, before you can say you have effectively communicated, there must be somebody or a target audience that you are referring to. And there must also be words like the keyword, what you want them to know. So let's say some of the characteristics of an effective communication, I will use this goal setting, is that there must be, it should be result oriented. It shouldn't be ambiguous. It shouldn't be ambiguous. It should try to be as concise and simplified, so that the person
very clear
will understand. Yes, you don't. You make your communication as simple as possible, as concise, so that the point will be clearly stated.
What so you don't bring in legal jargons.
No, no need jargon. Not just that's why I'm trying. When I try to go at big words, I come back to say simple, concise, because I know I'm talking to learned people, but not in the legal setting. Though everybody understands. And for people that will later tune in, the people that will later listen to it, so that let it be that I have also effectively communicated.
You are in the spirit.
So that you know that you must know what is it you want to pass across.
Yes.
You know,
so which is you don't want the jargons to create confusion.
Exactly, perfectly said. You shouldn't have, make a sentence that will have several meanings. That is not as concise, not simplified, not because when you make it that way, you have lost out your target audience. They might not understand what you actually, the intent and purpose of that your communication, what you are actually mean. And it's not good when you're communicating, you still leave room for assumption, to assume what you are saying when they can.
That's where that's word you used to be concise. That's where it comes in.
Yeah.
Because if you're concise, nobody would assume, oh, I thought he said like this.
So that is that. Also, like the bottom line in communication, if I would say, is to have a key, word, like what, if it's a policy, know what you want to pass across and the means to pass it across for your target, or like the people that is targeted to, for them to understand it and implement it. That's just what it is. Yes, that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have effectively communicated.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Benson, do you have anything to add? Or do I ask you the next question?
Maybe. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It broke a bit, but it's stable now.
Okay. For effective communication in the workplace, we should have things like our emails should be clear for everyone to understand, and text-based messages should be clear, because the emails are useful forms of workplace communication. Yeah, because it allows you to speak to many people at once without pulling them away from their desks. Everybody can reply from his or her station at work.
Yeah. That talking about emails, I still feel and believe, I know you do because you hate rules, but I still believe that when it concerns work, it should be emails. I know that people have everybody is tilting towards WhatsApp. But as far as I'm concerned, WhatsApp is an informal way of communicating. If I am in a work, that is how I feel. I don't know if I'm right, but if I have a colleague, we can talk about things on WhatsApp, okay? But if it is work related, I would take it more seriously and would also think that prefer that the person sends me an email.
Yeah,
understand? Because by the time you log
it
onto
gives
your
you more
mail,
time to think.
yes, but the moment you go out of WhatsApp and go to email, you sit up.
Yeah, because what they do in that email, they copy other people that are not supposed to be there. So you know they're trying to be shady. You know, that's one thing I hate about
and
email.
that's even when you notice
No,
that they've been copied. Some of them are like
but it's not about being shady. It's not about being shady because
Most
there's
people use
somebody
it for shady business.
there's somebody above you, above both of you, that is supposed to know what both of you are talking about.
Yeah, that's why I said, as far
so
as
it gives you more room to think before you respond
and be serious.
Okay, if I can come in there, I would say it depends on the kind of communication. Like WhatsApp, though it looks social, like not like it look a bit informal, but it's still
it is
informal,
not a bit.
No, it's still.
It is not big. It is kind. Yeah, I'll piggyback. Obi, I'm so sorry, but I support. I piggyback on what Obi is saying. Like most companies now have WhatsApp. Okay, there's one time I went in. I start 7:00. The computer wasn't running. You know what I mean? If you have put it in email, people wait to get to the job to see it. You know what I mean? But when I put it on WhatsApp, people from other companies that are affiliated with my company say, "Oh, it's still happening in my company. They now share the cloud that everybody had to use to log in." So I think WhatsApp, many companies are very towards WhatsApp because WhatsApp is an immediate way to communicate.
If you had taken note of what I said, I'm not disputing the fact that companies are now.
I'm just trying to tell you it's not informal.
People use WhatsApp now, okay, a whole lot, okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
companies, not people, companies. Say companies use it.
Okay, corporate bodies use WhatsApp. And to communicate. But at the same time, like you said, that if you had put it in the email, the person would need to get to work first.
Yeah, many people don't check their work email.
Smartphones about. Why wouldn't you put your email on your phone?
My work email is on my phone, but it's on silent because, like I said about the email, some people like to type 10 emails every day, and not everybody have time for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once it's 3:00, my work email, I used to get a lot on my phone, but now it's on mute. If I have to manually go in there to see the messages. And I choose not to, because once it's 3:00, I'm off work. Once it's 7:00 a.m., I start. So if I choose to put an alert for my work email to come out, but WhatsApp is a social platform that most of us, I don't have a lot on WhatsApp either, even text messages, every alert on my phone. Because otherwise, us Nigerians, we belong to so many WhatsApp groups. Your phone will be ding every second. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my notifications on everything is off. But I tend to go on WhatsApp every second. You see me, if you go on WhatsApp now, you see last Sini Joma 2 minutes ago. I'm always checking WhatsApp. So it's difficult for you not to see messages on WhatsApp. So that's why companies are going towards there. Even when I work in healthcare, state works in 8 a.m. So most managers start their work 9 to 9:30. You know what I mean? So for people like us who come in early, who have 7 to 3 schedule, you know what I mean? WhatsApp is a fast way to tell, the administrators or somebody, DOH is in the building. And if they were planning to come to work late or something, everybody rushes to work. But email, it takes people, if you don't have that alert on your email, you might not see it. So
it's okay. While I was still in Amazon, we use Chime and Slack.
Yes.
Amazon now evolved from Chime to Slack. Slack, if there is any communication that has to go out, the operations manager sends it on the Slack. As long as you're on the Slack platform, you get it on your phone immediately.
Yeah, same thing.
So companies decide on what kind of platform they want to use. Some might not want to use WhatsApp. Like I know for now, Amazon uses Slack. That's what they use. And when because we all have Amazon email. We all have Amazon's emails. So that email Amazon gave to you, everything that has pertains to work comes to that email. It doesn't come to your private email.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, IJ, would you like to take the second question?
Yes, ma'am. All right, the second question is, what is the importance of effective communication? Like Obegiri said earlier on, that it's a two-way thing. Somebody has to hear it. My father always said that, can you guys hear me? My father always said that there's when you're communicating to somebody, it's a three-way conversation. Your intent of what you're telling the person, what the person is hearing, and what both of you, you know what I mean? So that's why there's always three sides to a story. So Obegiri, can you take that from me? Oh, hold on, Abe.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Chibuzo is here.
Yeah.
Presido is here.
I'm here. You called me?
No, yeah, he started coming this year. I just wanted him to talk. Last time he said he was observing. I wanted to see if he could talk today. Okay, Ike. All right. As a wine, can you take the question for me? What's the importance of communication in the workplace? And for you and your profession, I know it's very important. So can you elaborate for me?
So, I mean, our customer service it's all about effective communication. But yeah, I mean, we have courses every year. You have to, it's a mandatory course you have to take on how to communicate with patients, how to communicate with each other. But one thing I've learned over the years is a lot of times when we start talking, we just talk. I mean, we open our mouth and we talk, and we just want to say what we have to say. But what I've learned over the years is before you even open your mouth, you have to think, what is the end goal? What are you trying to accomplish? You know, are you trying to resolve something? Like if somebody did something to you, how do you communicate to the person so the person can actually hear you, understand what you're trying to say, and perhaps resolve what the issue is instead of just you know, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but the main thing is before you even begin, what is your end? You have to think to yourself, what's your end goal? I do a lot of teaching in my job. So before I start talking with the patient, I say to myself, okay, this is what I'm trying to communicate to you today. This is what I want you to hear me say today. And then at the end of the teaching, I always go back and say, okay, can you just repeat to me what you heard me say today? And then they would say it back to me, and then I'll be like, okay, you on the right path. This is what I'm trying to say. But you say something like this, and that's not really what I'm trying to communicate to you. So I think that is part of
exactly what I just explained. Yes.
Yeah. What are you trying to say to the person? And did they really hear that? And then even when a patient is talking to me, I always come back and I say, okay, what I'm hearing you say is, and then I will rephrase what they had told me just to make sure that what they're trying to communicate to me is what I'm hearing. Because that's important. A lot of times we take something and we run with it. And that's not even what the person is trying to say. You know, that's my 2 cents.
That's very, very important because like when I was there's a course I took about private practice, they say you have to, like, when a patient, like what you just said, when somebody says, I don't like eating this, you have to, you know, repeat it back to them so that, you know, to make sure that is you're hearing what they are saying.
Right.
Yeah, because like I said, what I have in mind and how I'm saying it and how you're grasping it might be two different things. And that's why most times there's always a communication.
Yeah, exactly. Some of us that have this thick accent. Sometimes you're saying something and they're not even hearing or understanding what you're saying.
And they don't even want to, because once you open your mouth and they hear that accent, they don't want to listen again. I know.
Well, that's their problem. They should listen because we listen to them.
It's your problem too. It's your problem too because you have a client, you have a customer, and you're trying
Yes.
to impress that customer so they will come back. If you don't
Yes.
have any customer, the job will
And you're
the
getting
company will
paid
fold.
because of them, or you're making money because
Well,
of them.
Yeah,
well,
and
well,
Benson, the truth is the principal goal of trying to communicate is to build trust.
Yes.
You understand? So if you're not
Mhm.
communicating effectively, that trust isn't there, you're not moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then if by the time you build that trust, you bring in strong organizational and personal relationships.
Yeah.
Because we have had people who their clients became not just friends, but family.
Exactly.
It started from communicating effectively in the workplace.
Exactly.
So you can't say that's their problem. I'm sorry, I'm not on your side on this.
well, no.
Good for you. Yeah,
No. Whether you're my side or not, like for me,
nothing happens to my
it's
position.
not a problem. We try, yes. We try to understand them why they talk, but they don't even give a damn trying to understand you.
Yeah, but what
talk.
can we do?
They don't want it.
I think I know what Benson is talking about. There are people
I know that, but most I understand that.
They're not interested. So that does not
Look
mean
at
that you're not communicating. Yes, I'm hailing you from Lagos.
Yes, looking good, girl.
Ayo, thank you. Yeah, there are people that no matter how effective, can I concentrate? I'm communicating, Oji. I'm trying to communicate.
Communicate.
Thank you very much.
Leave her to communicate now.
Okay, so, communicate effectively.
Communication may be effective or may be done or may have all it takes to be effective, but the person or persons you're communicating to are not interested. And that does not mean you've not communicated or you've not passed on the message. So there are people who refuse to listen, not because they've not heard or it was not said clearly.
So once a person of color. Once a person of color.
X and Y pointed out. That's why we pointed out the accent. X and Y pointed out accent. There are times once they hear the accent, is like they tune off and everything.
What you're talking about is barrier. You're looking at barriers to effective communication. Sometimes it is clear. They understand you, but they just
what Benson said. That's their problem. It was the thick accent that
Benson. It's different though. So, it's different though. If I get what you're saying, you know, but it's different if somebody is not interested in what you're saying. That's completely different. Yeah, and in my profession, I still have to tell. It's my job to still tell you whether you want to hear it or not.
And document.
You know, after I educate you, after I educate you, if you don't want to hear it, then that's your problem.
And my job, then you have to be sure that you effectively communicated,
exactly.
Right?
My job is to make sure you understand what I am saying. If I'm teaching you about diabetes or high blood pressure, you understand exactly what it is I'm saying. Now, for you, if you want to retain it, that's your problem. If you want to take my advice, that's your problem. But at least you understood me in the first place.
What you guys have said has now brought me to rethink that in this effective communication, we should consider that we have verbal and non-verbal communication.
Communication, absolutely.
Yes.
Now,
that comes from the next question. Yeah.
You know, when we define in as much as now, it's like we're concentrating more on verbal, like written, meaning that we're talking about organizational setting, like a professional setting, a formal setting, better put. But even
formal
in the
formal or informal setting, which one?
Okay,
informal setting.
Informal setting.
Let us not forget that non-verbal communication plays out also. You understand? Now, some people, that's why to rule out assumption, you must be able to put all the forms of communication to play. Yes. Because it could be that you are communicating, the person that is supposed to reply back at that moment has a sore throat or lost the voice or didn't really there's something that is making it that maybe or didn't get you. So is it
that if she replies back to that email, there will be wowless. See,
whatever. So we now know in this setting what's the best means of communication? What's the best medium, or media, whatever? What can be used, or what can you do to get everybody to be?
Yeah, both verbal and non-verbal communication should be kept in mind. Both.
All right, I think that takes us nicely to the next question.
Yes.
What do we think are the elements or key elements to effective communication, in effective communication? So that, I think, that is where we're driving at.
Yes.
Things to consider when you want to be effective in communicating. We're talking about, we're not just living this in a workplace. It's primarily in a workplace. Some people's workplace is in their home anyway. So everywhere is everybody's workplace these days.
Yeah, to answer you, answer you that every company has a mission statement. And the mission statement is the message the company wants to lay out there. And after the mission statement comes policies. That's where some companies have people draft. You have the policies. The policies are like the Ishi engine, how they want things to be done and everything. And then what they want to be done and everything. Then after the policies comes the procedures. The procedures are the ways. Then each department takes their own procedures and say, okay, me, I'm in dietary. They'll say, okay, assuming I'm doing procedures for dietitians, for every morning you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. So that is an effective communication. Then that's where communication starts in the corporate world. And then as I mentioned courses. Every year there are mandatory in-services or courses or seminars, corporate people or like people in the workforce have to go through. You know what I mean? If you're a licensed professional, you have to take certain CPU.
I think you're telling us types of organizational communication.
No, that's how it that's the elements. That's the element of the communication. I mean for every company, every company has a mission statement. Then the policies tells you that's the communication. The companies, the policy is the company telling you how they want things to be run.
Let me interrupt you a little bit. Yeah, I think that probably what they are talking about is somebody had said about the verbal, non-verbal, behavioral, written, those types of communication, the way we pass information to other people. Is that what you mean?
No, the question is absolutely, elements of communication.
In terms of being clear, clarity, and we talk about body language.
Right.
Yeah. Adaptability, feedback.
Those types. Yes. Those types. You're going into technical terms too much. That's why I said let me interrupt you.
Processes.
Yeah.
And I believe that empathy.
But that's how companies. So how can companies? Because we're talking about corporate, so how do companies communicate to their employees?
I'll tell you, Wapa, irrespective of policies and mission statements and all, if a communication lacks clarity, right? Yeah. And it's not concise or does not have those elements, it does not matter what your mission statement is. So who is the person communicating? Even if it's in a training, how do you place those communication so that the other person understands it? And how do you the other person understand it? That's by getting feedback or through their body language and things like that. Those are the sides I'm looking at.
Yeah. So let's say you're talking to somebody right now and you're telling them, I'm okay, I'm fine, I don't have any beef with you. In the meantime, your body language is saying something else, right? You have your arms folded, you're standing at the door, your face is scowling. So we say it's incongruent with your behavior. So what's coming out of your mouth, it's not agreeing with what they are saying. Exactly. So the part of effective communication is that everything needs to rhyme, right? If you're smiling, then you should be saying nice things should be coming out of your mouth. You should not be smiling and cussing somebody out. It doesn't jive. So
if you're showing empathy, you shouldn't be. They shouldn't see you making some snide remarks.
Exactly. So your behavior
that's the best way to cuss people out at work. You smile and cuss them.
So
That's not
which
effective communication then. That's very confusing.
Which means your tone should match with your message.
Exactly.
Of course. That's why
Exactly.
certain emails rub you off there, because you can feel the tone even from emails. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Choma. The first thing you said, some people
And the font, writing all in capital letters, you are shouting, no matter what you press.
Yeah, but for some people that's just laziness. Some people that's just laziness about going back and forth.
I
Yeah,
agree with you. I agree it's laziness, but that's the way it interprets to other people, to the other side in terms of communication.
Some people don't know.
When things come in cast.
Know. They don't know that it's shouted. I've had to correct a few people, and I told them
that's part of the reason. That's why we're talking about this today. That's why we're passing this message on, talk about communication and see how people will pick one or two things from out of today's conversation around effective communication. And workplace, like I keep saying, we are in the workplace. People that work from home is still your workplace, so you have to communicate to colleagues and
because you have to follow the company. Even if you're working from home, you still have to follow the company's policies and procedures. You're working from home doesn't mean
even if you're running
your
own home business. This will apply to you. It's not just when you're employed by Nitel.
Even your home business, you have to draft your own mission statement. It starts with everything. It starts there. You have to. Yeah.
And now we understand now that we have said that it needs to be concise, like clear enough, so that there won't be ambiguity. Nobody will assume you're saying. Like that's clarity in it. I've also said something about the tone, that what you're saying to communicate it nice, so it won't be like you're bossing or boozling somebody with your statements. So what are the elements that you mentioned?
And feedback, ensuring that you get a feedback. A feedback could be something as simple as a nod. Is a feedback, or somebody saying, "Okay, that's fine. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's something rather than." I'll be honest with you. Sometimes,
which is sharing updates.
Sorry, Ben.
Which is sharing updates.
Signature
is
important,
and the person heard it and they did not respond. That does not mean they didn't hear it. Some people are very good at that. They would not say something back. They'll just walk away. They got the message. But is that effective communication? What do you guys think?
No.
What is your question?
There should be a feedback.
When you come and pass on a message, maybe we'll come in and said, okay, tomorrow we'll be taking on another strategy to solve this problem and sell our eggs differently or sell the chicken differently. I hope that everything is clear to everybody. And nobody
That's
says
why you need a signature.
Word.
You need a signature. Even us, morning meetings every day, everybody signs. You have to sign. Yes.
Yeah.
Signature.
You
that's
have
why
to make sure that they either
have to
that's
sign.
Right.
Signature.
They have to find a way to make sure that they did agree to what you're saying, that they did hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
so is that
it's important you go around and ask them, is that okay with you? Is that okay with you, John? Is that okay with you, Mweke? Is that okay with you, Ifoma, before you leave the meeting?
No, if it's a change, like what you said, it's a group discussion. So everybody has to sign that, that the S and Y told us today we have to do this, and everybody has to sign. That's it. Once you sign, you were there, that's it.
We don't sign in our meetings. I think people work in different sectors.
We sign here.
We don't. What they do, they talk, and
some
people will go around.
Say something. Has anybody thought about the fact that listening is an element of effective communication?
Yes, we talked about that.
Because when you communicate, someone might say, okay, are you willing as a leader to draw them out to listen to them? Because they might just take instructions from you. Yes, you've communicated, they understood you, they did not dispute anything, they're willing to do whatever you ask them to do. But how about by the time they say, okay, maybe you ask for a document and the person says, you'll get it by 4 p.m. How about showing some empathy by saying, I understand your child is going to school next week. How is that coming up? And then you listen.
That's a feedback. that is spoken.
So it depends on the setting, right? It depends on what's going on.
Can actually
It depends on the setting.
back to be feedback on whatever the subject matter is. But to be able to have the trust.
Like you're telling somebody to write email for you to give it to you at 4 p.m. Then you start asking them, how is your son do?
Because based on how his face is. No, AJ.
If somebody's going through something, if you say somebody you work with is going through something, you know what I mean? That's a different thing. Like, okay, my mother.
That's why I said it depends on the setting.
Everybody will know I'm so touchy, feeling touchy. That's a different thing. Yeah. If somebody's
by the time you tell him to do the email, and he looks up and says, "Okay," and you see his eyes are misty, are you going to walk away?
That's what I'm saying. If somebody is going through something, it might be misty because they smoked something.
Okay, so you're going to do it.
They might have smoked something. So misty eyes can come from so many things.
If you have a problem, talk to me.
Exactly.
You're right. Yeah. Once you tell me, okay,
yeah,
that's a feedback.
I'll leave you to send me the email by 4 p.m.
It brings me
from what I know working here, people have to follow. That's why there's policies and procedures. So when that's how people get held accountable when they don't do things. If the procedure says you have to finish this thing from 2 to 4 and you don't finish it 2 to 4, your manager or whoever has the right to come to you to say, you know what I mean? So if you're supposed to write and send an email by 4 o'clock and you can't, it's your responsibility to come to your leader or boss and say, Oga Oje, I know if you do this thing, I'm going through something. My daughter is in school, I can't pay. So that's a different thing. So, but everybody who comes to work everybody get wahala. But
the person has also
the thing is, as you're walking into your workplace, you pack it and leave it outside, because we all come with heavy-headed trouble.
Leave it in the trunk.
Trust me.
Leave it in the trunk.
I come to work every day with wahala, but I can't bring it to my workplace. Otherwise, I can't even function. At the end of the day, I won't have a job.
Yeah.
So it's your responsibility to communicate if you're going through something, so your manager can empathize with you. But if our mama will not be looking like, if our mama mostly works from home, so how will if our mama see your misty eyes? If our mama cannot see your misty eyes, because most times if our mama goes in maybe once a week, Abby, no be true.
Once a week,
if our mama works from home for the most time, so. Not be everybody, and at times, that's why I can't be
misty eyes. All I know is that
not even looking at your eyes. Don't worry.
That's why he's gone.
Yeah, I think
got a job. Our just get a job.
We just got a job.
Passing on the message.
If I must say that again.
Passing on the message and getting a response, ensuring that people you're speaking to understand what you're saying, and that your message means something within your organization. Again, we're talking about communication in workplace. Some communication cannot be, how do I put it? Some communications are nonsense. Quote me anything.
That's why I shot my email. I know that.
Yeah. No matter how beautifully it's been conveyed, some communications are not worth it. Can cause a disaster or could be a distraction to an organization.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's about knowing what you need to help you do your job, and the person passing on the message. Again, body language, using body language as a means of feedback or communication in workplace can be dicey. So it depends on in what setting. It is wrong when you just move, assuming you're in a meeting and a question is being asked, and maybe the person conveying the meeting asks a question. So what do you think, Ifeoma? Is it okay? And I do. Yeah. Nothing is not good enough in such a setting, because some other people might not be looking at you at that time, so they didn't get that response. So
what if you're not because
to know when to be verbal?
Want to be the normal.
Maybe I was nodding because my hair was itchy and I was nodding, and the person assumes, So it's good to do that if you're in a position where you need to get a feedback. Demand that feedback from your colleagues, from whoever is involved. Demand that feedback so to ensure that your message has been passed on and there's clarity. It is very, very important, and where we need to be clear on what we've been told We need to ask questions and make sure we get the information right. No assumptions when it comes to especially professional communications. No assumptions in case, so to avoid mistakes. Pass on the message, be clear about it, make it as simple as possible. And the use of simple English is important.
Yeah.
We all work in an
Yeah,
organization
I
and
know
we say, as
most communications that go out, like somebody I think Obegay said non-verbal communications. I think in America they do it. I think it's sixth or seventh grade. Seventh grade. Seventh grade is our class JS3 or something like that. Yeah, they use. I think it's yeah, grade either grade 6 or grade 8. Yeah, that's how they so that because it's not advanced. It's like OB is a boy. It's a simple,
yeah,
simple
there's a
English. So
campaign that
I
was
don't
run
know
in UK
about
sometime
UK. I don't know
ago.
the grade level they use in UK. Here in America, it's I think it's eighth grade level. Eighth grade level they use. So it's very easy. It's
There
simple.
was a time, IJ, there was a time they had a campaign, use of simple English. And what they centered on is trying to communicate in the workplace and amongst your customers as well in simple English. Stop using jargons because not everybody understands it. In my
Like me, I don't
field,
like
in
jargons. Yeah.
housing, what we call void. If I tell you I have a void, it means so many things to so many of you here. It might not even mean what we mean at work. So I can't be telling you stories about work and I'll tell you, come on, maybe a customer and tell them there's a void there. A void in housing within the UK means an empty property.
That's what it
But
means
that's not
here.
what you
It's
know void
void, yeah.
as. So
I know void as empty.
Even
Yeah.
our barrister in the house, I'll be use the word ambiguity. Not everybody understands what ambiguity means.
Yes.
Let's not assume. So make things simple. Try and find a simpler word to describe what you're saying.
In UK, what grade level do you know the grade level you guys use in the UK? Here is the 8th
We
grade
don't
level.
do grade
Either 6th
level.
or 8th. Okay, ours is
No, we
8th
don't do
grade
grade
here.
level. We
Ours
teach
is 8th grade
everybody
here.
English. If you pass GCSE, we know you can read
No,
and write.
I just broke it down.
No, to communicate, to write, communicate to, like, assuming a company wants to do campaign about, like housing or like the simple English you're talking about. I suppose in a grade level that they're using. Yeah. So, but anyway, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very important.
So all these turenchi is to avoid miscommunication.
Yes.
Absolutely. And save yourself the stress. Yeah. And save yourself the stress. And
so which is what you don't understand, ask questions for clarification.
Yeah, because miscommunication can spell disaster in ways that you can't even imagine.
Yes, so just little something.
And it has nothing to do with being smart or being alert. If you don't get it, you don't get it. And by the time people realize what has happened.
Because for us in the nutrition business, like instead of giving people pamphlets of things about food, just say just draw a line, do not eat this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it's easier for them to see do not and eat this. Because that's what we use, to give them. Because if you start writing phosphorus, the foods that are high in just by the time they are high in foods that are high in phosphorus, they don't have time for that. You know what I mean? Just renal diet, not eat. Cardiac diet, do not eat. It makes it the simpler, the more it attracts especially the older population. Nobody has time to, read so much. You know what I mean? So nobody has time to read.
Just like if a message is sent, each drama will understand it differently and interpret it differently. So we should at the workplace we should try to make it plain.
Yes.
Plain. Very plain.
And if you must repeat it, please do repeat it. Ask questions, and when you're passing down the information, if it's a process, if you work in an environment where there's a process, repeat it. It doesn't just believe that everybody's an idiot. Repeat it just for clarity.
Exactly.
Don't think because we used to do it that way, they should know. That's what the assumption we're talking about. Let's always repeat it. Let's just keep ringing that bell, talking about it. Today's conversation some people might think Ochekichi is talking about professional communication at workplace. It is very important because each and every one of us work in one sector or the other. And we've had conversations with these things come on our table because people ask for it out of experience. And again, when we have a discussion, have our meetings, we may have encountered one or the other around most of these issues. So it is very, very important. Let's ask questions when we're not clear. Let's repeat processes to our colleagues if we're in position to do so. Let's make sure that everything we say to people are said in the plain. Is there anyone like plainest? The simplest way you could say it. Plainest, right? Did I get told you? English master. Plainest.
The law. She's the learned one here.
Yeah. The law, yeah. So
and for us in healthcare, what they've been passed. Yeah, for us in healthcare, after
plainest. Is there anything like that?
Huh? Yes, there is.
You can form one. You can form one. You can form one. They didn't day, yes.
Okay. But
in
for
the
us,
form you can communicate.
About the feedback, Mama, about the feedback you're talking for us in the healthcare industry. I don't know for us here. Like after there's mandatory in-services we do like every year, like 20 different things about, abuse and stuff like that. The feedback they get from us is asking us like between 5 to 10 questions on each subject, and we have to answer it and submit it back to them. And as we are writing and submitting, we are signing. Nobody's spelling it because we're doing it together. Even if one person says the wrong answer, the other person will correct it. You know what I mean? But at least everybody answers it right, and we all sign it and we all put it in. So,
all right.
So you can't say you were not effectively told this. So that's how they do feedback here.
Another important thing I must mention before I forget is for those of us who run their own business or people that manage teams or departments where they interact with customers. And when we talk about customers, I'm referring to all stakeholders, including your colleague can be your customer, depending on how you serve them. And outsiders can be your customers. For people that work, if you want to measure how you've performed or how you, let me use the word perform, you could ask for customer satisfaction or carry out customer satisfaction surveys. You could do it over the phone as simple as asking after you've sold a piece of wrapper or Ankara or whatever you've sold to other person and ask, I hope you liked it. Or even sold lipstick. You can call and say, we'll do that a lot with Mary Kay. We can call and check up on you. Did you like it? Did the color go well with you? This is effective communication. I've passed on, I've sold that product, and I want to know, have I served you the right way? And are you happy with the service I've given to you? It is very, very important, especially for people who are self-employed and people are in position where they could sit there. Even if you're not in that position, you can always suggest it to your organization. Customer satisfaction surveys, that would help you measure your performance. And that is effective communication. In that form, you've gotten a feedback from your customers because we're not centered just on customers. Chibuzor, I'll come to you in a minute. We're not talking about feedback when I talk to my manager and they respond. Now, it could go as far as meeting with other people. Chibuzor, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Before Chibuzor comes on, for people who have their private businesses who want to do the survey thing Ifeoma talked about, Google has something called Survey Monkey. You can go in there, you put in your surveys, you can do it and send it to your customers.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling.
Can you unmute Chibuzor so he can talk?
All right, hold on. I'm using my phone today, so hold on.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
All right. Oh,
Good evening.
Thanks for joining again today.
Apologies, I couldn't speak where I was.
That's okay.
With the kids and
I
was doing a whole lot, so I couldn't. But I was listening and taking notes because this topic is very important. Very, very important. So for me, it's more of listening and learning. I'm trying to pick one or two things that helps me in the future. It can also help me in my communication skill. Also, just a way of contribution because I'll be out in the next 5 minutes. Just a way of my own contribution. I think the issue of communication is very important because I have been a victim of it. Mine is on the issue of illness. When I was in secondary school, I had issue with my left ear. A classmate of mine plugged something into my ear.
Oh.
And ever since that time, I could not hear with my left ear. Like what I mean, I could not hear is that if you put your mouth in my left ear and you speak to me, I can't read anything you're saying. And over time, it began to grow. But one of the major problems I had is that when I communicate with you, it looks like I'm shouting. But to me, I'm not shouting.
You finished. Yeah, I have that.
To me, I'm not shouting. To me, I'm not shouting. But to the next person, I'm shouting. It also, even when I'm making call, for example, I need to make call in the lowest of voice. But when I'm making this call, I'm shouting. And it's as a result of my ear.
You're not
As a result of my ear. But thankfully, here in the UK, I've gotten a series of procedures I need to undergo to correct it. One of the procedures also is a learning aid. The hearing aid, sorry, not a learning, a hearing aid also to help in communication. So when I communicate with people, especially via verbal communication, it looks like I'm shouting. It looks like I'm talking to the loudest of my voice. When I'm also doing a presentation, that's why sometimes when I do a presentation, I don't like doing with a presentation with a microphone. I like because my voice is loud enough. So it affects me. So those I just also wanted to let us know that sometimes one or two deficiencies we have in our body can also hinder proper communication. Just in my own case.
I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah. So sometimes what I do is that I try to educate people around me when they feel that way, like I'm shouting. I try to let them know that.
Chibuzo, there is program or courses that most organizations run. I'll talk about the UK. I don't know. I'm sure it's gone down everywhere in the world, anyway, in Nigeria, about diversity, understanding differences.
Yeah.
It is a fact that Africans speak in a very harsh or loud tone, right? So, and even people of non-English, non-speaking countries, they have that. Well, I won't call it deformity. It's their behavior. It's the way they speak. So I think it's now being understood. And again, that goes to talk about that behavior, or not behavior. Maybe it's not the right word.
That's different because I have the problem. I don't know, you as a friend, you know I shout. Yes. You as a friend, you know, everybody who knows me know I shout. Even it was one of the issues I had with my ex. Every time, because when I get excited, my voice gets louder. But that's the way I talk. And my daughter talks like that too. So, you know, my mother used to shout. So I used to tell, and the hearing thing, Chibus, I'm glad you mentioned this thing. I always say that by the time I get old, I'll need hearing aid. I don't know if any hearing problem I have. I was never diagnosed with any hearing problem, but I know somebody cannot whisper to me. If somebody wants to whisper to me, I say, let's step outside. Anybody who knows me, I say I cannot hear. Let us. So maybe I have hearing problem. Maybe that's why I talk loud. I don't know, but I like this thing Chibuzo said brought it home for me. Because if people want to whisper to me, I say, I beg, come make a go outside. I cannot. So I think maybe maybe most of us get hearing problem for Nigeria. We don't know. Maybe that's why we didn't shout. I don't know.
I think my
but I shout. I have that.
But AJ, can you whisper?
Yeah,
I can whisper to you.
I do whisper.
But if you whisper to me, I'll tell you, let's step out. I can't hear shit.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I think
but no, like he knows he has a hearing problem.
Mine is a deficiency in my ear because I've gone to test. I've gone to response test, and they notice that I don't get responses from my left ear like I get from my right ear. I've gone to series of tests, so like proper, if you see tests I've gone to. But I think the issue is that the responses I get as a result of that thing that was plunged into my ear. The rest, yes, I think I allowed it to elongate, to grow. I didn't work on it when I was small, so it became something big. but I'm okay.
The
I do
only
more
hair-related
explanation.
thing I know I have is very good.
People, don't worry, you're doing very well, irrespective of that tone of voice.
Yeah,
I think you're communicating effectively.
exactly.
We enjoyed all the information you passed on during the your show with us, or
Thank
when you
you.
spoke to people.
Yeah.
So, and we gave a feedback, didn't we?
Thank you. Thank you so
We
Oh,
much.
fed
and they
back
were
to you.
and they were and they were harassing me.
For
Who's
contacts, yeah.
harassing you?
Ifeoma and OJ.
OJ.
Will you shut up? But still explain yourself. People don't mind
OJ,
that.
please. OJ, instead
You're
of
an
you to
effective
harass,
communicator. That's what I want you to take away
please
from
come to
today's show.
my GM.
We
If
will
Oma
come
come
to
to
your
my
corner.
GM so that you stop harassing OJ. My DM is open.
No worry.
Uh-huh.
No problem. I'll always come. Don't worry. You know you're not too far from each other. Anyway, thank
Yes.
you everybody for being a part of today's show. And
Thank
I
you.
hope you picked a thing or two. I did myself.
I did.
And we WestAdi talk. We can talk for England. Don't check kitchen. All the ladies there are talking. So working very hard. We're trying to train ourselves so to make sure that we communicate effectively, that we're being heard, and we hear people as well. We listen. So we're effective listeners, effective communicators, and please, to all of us out there, speak to people, ask questions when it's not clear, especially when you are working, especially in a professional setting. Even at home, though, but let's talk about professionally now. It is very important. So let's keep that communication going. That is the breadline, or is it the breadline? Is that what the lifeline of life? Lifeline of life is communication.
Topia.
Lifeline of the business is communication. That's the grammar I wanted to speak. Lifeline of the business is communication. Thank you very much, and we'll be with you same time next week. Will I be in Nigeria? I'm enjoying myself. I've been in Nigeria for some weeks now, and it's been awesome. I don't even want to go back to anywhere else.
I don't want to come back to the
and God bless you.
So wait, no verso. So with all this high cost of everything, you are enjoying the place. Now we say you carry almost 50,000 pounds to go back to Nigeria.
I'll speak